unlocked and into the dark. Some things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever Oh, what a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner. Is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner. Is it in her? Is this real? Just illusion? I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonderland of confusion.
This is Cynthia Sue Larson with Reality Shifters and the International Mandela Effect Conference, and you're now listening to Dark Wolf's Den Show on Ripon Common Sense Radio.
Hello.
Lasers.
Hello.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This is your man Meta, aka Propagate This Light, and you're now listening to Dark Wolf's Den.
Are ghosts real?
We had 1,000 hours of continuous communication with the spirit world.
Does time travel actually exist?
The laws of physics seem to be compatible with time machines.
You know, sometimes I wonder about reincarnation. Don't you?
A 4-year-old boy in Adelaide, Australia, has told his parents that he used to be Britain's Princess Diana.
What would happen if the world found out that aliens were real?
I didn't say disclosure would be easy, but what is the alternative?
To establish a space force as the 6th branch of the armed forces.
We have so many questions and yet so little time, so to have you here, the pleasure is all mine.
Coming to you from a secret mountain cave, hidden deep within the Idaho wilderness. This is the Dark Wolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Wolf's Den Show. Whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, November 26th, 2020, also known as Thanksgiving. That's right. Tonight we're going to talk about Turkey Day, all the ins, outs, truths, myths, and fun of Thanksgiving. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to kick off the holiday season. Last night we had alternative history of the Bible. I think we got it started right, so let's finish kicking it off right tonight with Thanksgiving on the Dark Wolf's Den Show, ladies and gentlemen. But first, today in history. And being Thanksgiving, it's only fitting, as thankful as I am to have every last one of you guys here tonight, we're going to go ahead and do a double today in history. On this day in 1789, the first National Thanksgiving in America was celebrated. That's right. Then, on this day in 1865, Lewis Carroll publishes his great work, Alice in Wonderland in America. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is today's Today in History. That makes Alice in Wonderland 155 years old in America. Man, I tell you what, that is one story I am thankful for. I love Alice in Wonderland, right? Then again, we all love jumping down those rabbit holes, don't we? Speaking of rabbit holes, ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this show now for about 5 months, roughly. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am, not only to have the opportunity to have this show, but to have the opportunity to speak to you guys about a topic that I have loved since I was a really, really young little dude. So to have the ability to come on here and speak to you guys every week, I am truly thankful for. And it is Never Nothing November, and all month we have been collecting the What We're Thankful For requests on the recorded line. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put them all together tonight in one great big montage. So here is the Never Nothing November I'm Thankful For montage.
Hi, my name is Ash. I am thankful for Art Bell Archives in Ripon Rabbit Hole because they have taught me to always find a light in things, and they have ensured me that I'm not going insane. And I love the paranormal, and they have taught me a lot about that. And it's really nice to find a place that I can relate to and find a actual family. So I am very thankful for everyone that Arthur Bell has inspired and everyone at Ripon Rabbit Hole.
This is Propagate This Light. A few of the things that I'm thankful for is what I'm about to mention, one of which is having God love there that loves us all. I'm thankful for God. I'm definitely thankful for being on the intro to Dark Wolf's Den Show. I'm definitely thankful that I have followers on my channel as well. And I'm thankful that you're even able to listen to me right now, and I'm even able to be here right now. Thank you.
This is My Life DIY, and I am just so thankful for so much in my life, but revolving around this subject, this topic, I'm thankful to Moneybag 73, 76 for some of us. Without him, I would have never found the Ripon Rabbit Hole show, and without finding the Ripon Rabbit Hole show, I would have never found the VIP Lounge. So thanks to Moneybags and AJ for the constant entertainment and knowledge and being able to make some real new friends.
This is Dan Sullivan. I'm thankful for a lot of things. But one of the things that I'm one of the things that I'm most grateful and thankful for is I found a community of like-minded people that think outside the box. And I thank AJ and Jerry for the tremendous shows that they put on weekly. It is not taken for granted. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's AJ the Ripon Rabbit. I'm thankful for family, I'm thankful for food, and I'm thankful for good health. I'm thankful for the audience that has gathered in this incredible community, the Ripon Rabbit Hole. 1 year down, many, many, many more to go. I'm thankful to you, Jerry Hicks, the Dark Wolf's Den, for providing me a little break.
Well, let me tell you, AJ, I'm thankful to do it. It is both an honor and a pleasure, my friend. And we got one more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it came in right at the buzzer.
Hi, this is JoJo. And I'm grateful on this Thanksgiving for all my friends that are healthy and that I get up every morning and everything's to be okay and I have my health and everyone seems to be doing all right. Everybody does great.
And a huge shout out and thank you to those that went ahead and submitted their Never Nothing November recording. That would be Ash, the one whose idea it was to do Never Nothing November. We thank you for that suggestion. It's been absolutely awesome. Next up we had Seth Sullivan, My Life DIY, as well as Meta, also known as Propagate This Light, that's right, as well as AJ the Ripon Rabbit, and JoJo's coming in there at the end. We appreciate you guys going ahead and phoning those in for us. That really does mean a lot. I guess you could say we're quite thankful for your participation. At least I am. And you know, speaking of being thankful, I have an opportunity every week to talk to you guys on here and share the work that I've done for almost 30 years. And that is, of course, the work in the study of the paranormal. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to be able to do this every week, 2 times a week nonetheless. To hang out with you guys, to share this information, to just be able to have this opportunity. Like I said, I can't tell you how thankful that I am to be able to share not only this show and this evening, but just the fact that we have a show at all that we can come back every week and share with you guys week in, week out. It's just truly amazing and never someplace I thought I would see myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's thanks to you guys that we do this, and it's thanks to you guys we're able to do this. So I'm thankful for every last one of you. That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, with that said, speaking of being thankful, Thanksgiving has a long and sordid history, right? We know a lot of myths and tales and legends about Thanksgiving, but let's hear the real history of Thanksgiving. What do you guys say? Let's start at the beginning.
In North America, you'll notice the leaves are changing color. Pumpkin spice lattes are back, and Charlie Brown is playing on TV. That must mean it's time for Thanksgiving, with family, friends, and loads of turkey. Even if you're not an American, you've probably heard of the holiday. But the image of pacifist settlers singing Kumbaya alongside the natives is all wrong.
Of course, that's the fairy tale that we're told in school every year, is the settlers and the Indians, and everybody got along and had a great feast and all the wondrous, yeah. So let's hear what actually happened.
The story begins on a cold pier in England in August of 1620, when 120 men, women, and children stepped onto 2 English merchant ships in Southampton Harbor bound for the Americas. Both vessels seemed to be held together by spit and prayers. The Speedwell was so old it had fought against the Spanish Armada in 1588, and the Mayflower was such an ungainly transport ship that it could barely sail into the wind. And since the North Atlantic in the fall and winter is nothing but westerly winds, it was the absolute worst ship to try and attempt a crossing with. But somehow the Mayflower had made it to the Americas twice before. even if it had taken twice as long as normal. Luckily, these would-be colonists were determined. They had to be. They were Brownists, religious dissenters from the Anglican Church of England.
And that is one of the parts of the story that we are actually told, is that the settlers were coming to the New World for religious freedom and to get out from under the thumb of the Church of England, not allowing them to practice the religion the way that they wanted to practice.
You see, the Brownist beliefs were relatively simple. The first, that only the word of the Holy Bible was infallible. The second, that individual churches and their local communities should have more say and autonomy in the goings-on of the church.
And of course, having more goings-on and say of the goings-on within the church is something that today we see as, well, absolutely obvious. And as far as their first claim that the Bible is the only completely infallible book, I would suggest you go back and listen to last night's episode as far as that goes. But they wanted freedom. They wanted the ability to worship and believe as they believed, as they wanted to. And they just couldn't find that in England. So they decided it was time to make a change. However, it was not that easy at all for them.
Both these beliefs were aimed at jettisoning the corrupt power structure of the old Catholicism. That didn't happen.
But it was a good idea at the time.
As the new church started looking more Catholic by the day, the Brownists bought themselves a printing press and began passing out leaflets that opposed it, which led to the Brownists becoming intimately familiar with the inside of London's prison system. They got such a bad rap that Shakespeare even mentions them in one of his plays, Twelfth Night, where he says, "I had as gladly be a Brownist as a politician."
So these folks weren't exactly the most beloved amongst their society. They questioned society, they questioned truth, they questioned what was considered the right way of their modern day times, and they would later on go on to, as we know, form America. But, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This was no easy task by any means whatsoever. Check this out.
Not exactly a flattering comparison. So the Pilgrims decided to risk it all as a startup colony in the Americas, creaky boat and all. It would be an English colony, but one not bound by religious politics. So they set sail and braved the rough fall seas in August of 1620. They hadn't even made it out of the port, though, before they found that the Speedwell was taking on water.
And if you don't recognize the boat, the Speedwell, don't worry, you're not alone. I didn't either when I first heard this. I didn't know about this. So you'll find out here shortly why we don't usually hear about it in the normal Thanksgiving story. It's not a Mandela effect, guys. It's just a part of the story that we don't normally hear. Here's the rest of the story.
So they pulled over in Dartmouth for repairs. Undaunted, they shored the leaking boards and set out again to a new life, and watched with glee as Land's End and Cornwall slipped away behind them, only to turn around and immediately see it again. The Speedwell had recently been refitted with a larger mast, and somebody had clearly botched the job. The ship was going nowhere. So 20 people agreed to stay behind and bring more of their congregation with them the next year, and 102 crammed onto the already overloaded Mayflower, finally leaving again on the 6th of September. Or maybe it was the 16th. No one's actually sure. The calendars in that period are a bit wonky.
So they ended up getting rid of the other ship, the Speedball or whatever it was called, and they all crammed themselves onto one ship, the Mayflower, in order to make it to the New World for religious freedom, nonetheless, to be able to govern themselves religiously as they felt they wanted to. Which in today's society, you look around and we've still got religious freedom. I'll give it that. We're running out of freedoms and rights left, right, and center, but we definitely still got the religious one. But that's getting way off topic. I don't want to get on a soapbox tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thanksgiving, and politics is never a good topic at Thanksgiving, is it? All right, so our heroes are ready to leave England on the Mayflower around the 6th or 16th-ish of September in 1620.
Their trip was mercifully dull after recent events. But halfway across the ocean, the Pilgrims' good luck set back in again. A storm and strong winds hit, In the middle of the storm, a deep snap echoed through the ship. A main beam had cracked. So they pulled a spare from the hold and tried to reinforce it. But the buckling was so severe that it wouldn't stay in place. That meant it was time to turn around and go back to England. Again.
If anybody's ever seen the TV show Bob's Burgers, at the beginning intro of that, they've got to keep reopening the shop because of this, that, and the other reason. So I just think that's pretty funny. Our heroes, bless their hearts, got so close, and now they've got to turn around and go back to England and again start over and try again to get to the New World.
The delays had already exhausted all the Pilgrims' money, and for them, that wasn't an option.
So there is no going back then, full steam ahead.
So they decided to try something else first. They had brought a great iron screw with them as cargo, likely a piece of the exact printing press that had gotten them kicked out of England in the first place, and used that to raise the new beam into place. Somehow, it held long enough to get them across the Atlantic.
Alright, don't think the irony of using the printing press that got them kicked out of England to begin with is lost on me. This is absolutely hilarious in my opinion. But moving on, so now they've decided they found a way to fix the problem, and it's full steam ahead to the New World.
They sighted land on 9th November, just off Cape Cod, then turned south for the Hudson River Valley, hoping to move closer to established colonies and warm weather. But hard winter currents forced them back to Massachusetts, where they set up anchor in the natural harbor of Provincetown.
So it appears that Massachusetts wasn't exactly their first choice of places to land. It's not like they just pulled up at the first place that they seen when they got here. They actually sailed around a little bit, and this again is what I would call a time-locked event, right? Said they were headed for the Hudson Bay, right? They were headed this way, and the headwinds said, no, you're going back that way, because remember back then they had no ability to control the weather or where the winds sent them, so even though their free will was to go one way, the wind said no, you're going down here. So it seemed like it was one of those events that had to happen. No matter what they chose to do, they would have ended up still landing in Massachusetts. That, of course, is just my opinion, though. Don't take that as gospel. I'm still working on the whole time lock theory thing. But that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to our heroes who have just landed in Massachusetts.
Knowing that their previous claim on this new land had been dodgy at best, the settlers agreed to draw up a new contract for their colony, styling it the Mayflower Compact. It organized them as a civil body politic created for the general good of the colony, where issues would be decided by vote. This set of rules and beliefs set down by the Pilgrims has since been called the world's first written constitution. The men of the ship put their names to paper, and they all signed the agreement together.
So the colonies are established, they've established the Constitution. Wow, they've really done a lot here. Things seem to be going great for our heroes now. They made it to the New World, and they've established their country, and seems like everything's going good. And just when things are going good...
And within weeks, they would all begin dying together. Scurvy and illness took hold of the boat, and as the first snows arrived, it turned the ship into an icy tomb. Exploration parties were sent out to find a suitable place to build, and any man who could still stand was put aboard with swords, armor, and matchlocks. They found a deserted landscape and found themselves strangers in an unknown land, filled with native burials and abandoned villages. But everywhere they went, eyes watched them. Going as far as they could each day, they camped on the shores, and in the dim morning they draped their jackets over a barricade to dry, and made to move their boats back into the water. And that's when the arrows began to rain down on them. Grabbing muskets, they fired blindly into the forest. Their leader appeared from behind a tree and fired 3 arrows directly at the Pilgrims. The man gave a triumphant cry and then disappeared again into the forest. The Pilgrims searched the area, but found no bodies. Only 18 arrows, tipped with deer horn, brass, and eagle's claws. When they went to retrieve their jackets, they found them riddled with arrow holes. Guessing that as many as 30 or 40 men waited for them in the forest, the Pilgrims left before they could return.
And as bad as it all sounds, you got to look at it from the point of view of the Native Americans, or the ones that are watching and attacking this story, because they were here first. This was their land, and all of a sudden people come in that look completely different than them and just want to walk around like they own everything. Yeah, I could see them trying to be seen as being put in a position of having to fight, if you will, having to defend their lands and defend their way of life, because that's the only thing they knew to do. That was their instinct, to attack, which I think that's all of our instincts, right? The first time, or whenever we're put in a situation like that, our first instinct is the word I was looking for a second ago, is to attack, fight or flight, right?
The next day, they found the building place they were looking for, well suited to winter construction, already cleared of timber, with tall hills for defensive positions. But it was also full of dead bodies. Patuxet had been a village of the Wampanoag people, until it had been wiped out by an outbreak of Indian fever 3 years earlier. The epidemic was bad enough that the colonists found unburied skeletons still inside their homes. But with more settlers dying by the second, the Pilgrims were in no shape to be picky.
Now, here is a story that you don't hear in school, right? I don't think I've ever heard this part of the story, as a matter of fact. This is new information to me, too. And if there's one thing I love on this show, it's new information, that's right. So, the Indians had been taken out by this Indian flu, or at least this tribe, not all of them, of course, let's be clear here. But the Native Americans in this area had been taken out by this flu, and the Pilgrims were trying to literally build on top of the dead civilization here. And they were removing bodies from the homes that were already there because they never made it to burial. That is, you don't hear that when it comes to the Thanksgiving story, right? No one, I guess, really is told, generally speaking, when they hear the story that, oh yeah, that new city they first started, by the way, that was an empty or abandoned Native American camp that was full of dead bodies. Yeah, you don't hear that part, right, when it comes to the Thanksgiving story. And that's why we've got these shows, so you can hear the rest of the story. And shall we continue, ladies and gentlemen?
They moved the Mayflower to join them and began construction. The first common house that was finished became a hospital for the ill. And the 19 families then each built their own town, huddled together for defense. And by February, the settlement was complete. But without food or proper shelter, they continued to die off one by one by one. And by the time the snows thawed, only 47 of the original 102 Pilgrims were still alive, and half of the Mayflower crew had died as well. Those that survived now faced the danger of summer raiding parties.
And once again, by the numbers, this is not looking good for our heroes.
So they decided to fortify the village, bringing cannons from the ship to point outwards into the unknown wilds. Finally free of the bitter cold, they planted corn taken from the abandoned graves and storehouses of the old Wampanoag village.
Wait a minute, that's another part of the story that we are usually told a little differently. I'm going to play that last part one more time because I think that's really important key clue here.
Finally free of the bitter cold, they planted corn taken from the abandoned graves and storehouses of the old Wampanoag village.
So we all know that they planted the corn. That's a well-known story. But what we don't usually hear is they just got the seeds from the storehouses of the people that had been there prior to them, the ones they built on top of. Yeah, that's where they got the seeds to plant the corn. It wasn't like the Native Americans come along and said, here, you do this. This is how you plant corn. You know, the story we're told. Yet that is nowhere near what actually happened. As we know, history is written by only a select few, and the fables are written by even fewer. And what we usually hear every Thanksgiving is the fable of Thanksgiving, not the true story of Thanksgiving.
And with that first thaw came their first contact with the locals. A man, tall and dark-skinned, boldly strode out of the forest and made to walk directly into the center of their town. the pilgrims stopped him, guns pointed. Then he opened his mouth and greeted them in English, welcoming them to the new land, and then promptly asked for a beer to drink. He was Samoset of the eastern Abenaki, who'd spent years trading tales and supplies with English fishermen who passed through the area. And as he swapped stories over his acquired taste for English delicacies, he warned that not every tribe would be as friendly as his, but they could get little more out of him as his English was broken at best.
Now, that would be really trippy. That would really mess me up, honestly. A Native American tribe, this brand new tribe on this brand new continent that you've never been on prior to this. And now you've got this tribesman comes up to you and starts speaking your language on another continent in a place you've never been. Yeah, that would be enough to blow my mind. That's pretty interesting, I gotta say. It's almost synchronistic, if you will, that they would be there, or he would be there at the right place at the right time to be able to speak with the settlers. I don't know, just a little strangeness going on there, I think.
The next week, Samoset returned with a new man, Tisquantum.
Wait, time out, stop. What was the man's name? I mean no disrespect at all, I promise, I assure you, I'm not doing this disrespectfully. I just want to hear this man's name again, because I want to know if you guys heard what I heard.
The new man, Tisquantum.
Tisquantum. I'm sorry, that just sounds like a play on words for a time traveler. Tisquantum. I know it's not. I know. And leave it to my paranormal researcher mind to inject something like that. But Tisquantum, I mean, come on. At that time, it didn't mean anything. But nowadays, we know what quantum means. Well, then I'm just saying. I'm not saying this is time travel or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Known today as Squanto, who spoke fluent English.
Okay, that's the character that I thought it was going to be, but just the same, what an odd name. And he spoke fluent English? Okay, once again, I get it. They'd been talking to the fishermen and slowly learning it from the people that had been traveling through their villages and whatnot. I understand that. I get this part. I now understand why the Native Americans and how the Native Americans knew English. But with that said, still, that is really strange for these Native American tribes on a whole different continent. Think about that. You crossed an ocean, and people are still coming up to you, talking to you in your own language. Yeah, that'd be just a little weird for me. I gotta say, I'd be a little... like, what in the world? You know, even knowing that they had been taught by my fellow countrymen, that's still just more than a little coincidental, right? And again, I know they'd been exploring the Americas prior to this, building up to the colonization. Still, that's strange. To me, that's just so strange that they would even know the language. They would take the time to have learned the language, right? Because we didn't learn theirs. Most of us didn't learn their languages, yet they took the time to learn ours, didn't they?
He was the last survivor of the Patuxet tribe, the very land the Pilgrims now inhabited.
Yeah, that would be a little bit awkward. So, yeah, we found all your passed away tribe members and all your stores here and everything. Yeah, we kind of used it all. But glad to meet you. I mean, the last surviving member, right? That is not the person you expect to come wandering up to your little village, right? The members, or the last member of the previous tribe. That's like the last owners coming to your house going, yeah, I used to live here. I think I still do. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but you guys get the idea.
Who'd been taken by slavers as a boy and had lived in Spain and England before escaping back home again, only to find his own people had been wiped out by disease. He had been taken captive, a useful tool to deal with the continuing English encroachment.
Once again, just by chance, he had had a life that had led him to know full English. And he just happened to be in the right place at the right time to meet the settlers. I mean, think about that. What if he was on the other side of the country? What if he was still in Spain or England? None of this would have worked out how it did. So again, I believe everything about the creation of America, this epic of the Europeans meets the Native Americans. I believe all of this was time-locked events, just by the coincidences, the sheer number of synchronicities that play themselves out in this story. And again, this isn't the fabled version. We're trying to find as close to the historical version as possible.
Squanto heralded the arrival of 60 armed warriors and their chief, the Wampanoag. The Pilgrims grabbed their muskets and ran to the walls and waited for the worst. But neither side wanted to make the first move.
And thank God it became a standoff, because this could have ended before it ever began. This could have been the very end of the beginning. However, things ended much differently to the amazement of both sides, and luckily for the American settlers, who would become the American settlers, this could have been the very end of them. If they would have got destroyed or killed right here at this point, there probably wouldn't have been much more America to be had.
With a bit of back and forth from Squanto, their chief, Massasoit, agreed to sit down with the Pilgrims' governor, and after a healthy amount of liquor to loosen up both sides, they set about with the business of peace.
I like how they put that, a healthy amount of liquor to loosen up both sides. But apparently this was one of the better things that could have happened.
See, the Wampanoag found themselves beset on all sides by enemy tribes, with plenty of land, but no power to hold them back. Where others saw the English settlers as a threat, Massasoit saw an opportunity.
Sounds like a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation.
The Pilgrims agreed to help the chief against his enemies by using their muskets and cannons, in return for mutual protection, and some much-needed agricultural advice from Squanto, specifically how to plant the native foods that the Pilgrims had never before encountered.
Clearly this meant beside the corn, because they had already said they found the corn and planted that already, so clearly this meant besides that. So the portion of the story of Squanto actually teaching the Europeans how to plant and grow the particular crops native to this land, I guess that actually happens to be a true part of the story.
And so began an unlikely friendship, where Squanto passed on his knowledge of the land. Under his tutelage, the Pilgrims learned how to plant corn, bean, and squash in a way that ensured that each would thrive.
Again, this seems to be a part of the story that history got right.
When they weren't planting, they sent diplomatic parties out to every tribe in a 50-mile radius to agree to mutual peace, and took time to knock the heads of anyone who threatened their native allies.
So it sounds like the Europeans actually became a group of peacemakers among the Native American tribes scattered around the area around them anyway. So it sounds like it became a very win-win situation.
So by the time the fall came and the harvest ready to be brought in, they found themselves looking quite optimistically to the new year, especially in comparison to the last. It was in this spirit that the men were sent into the forest to shoot a few game birds, likely turkeys and waterfowl, for a feast to give thanks to the Lord for their bounty and good luck.
So it looks like this is where the Thanksgiving bird comes from, the celebration of going into the woods and getting the bird, if you will, for the feast to have together to celebrate the harvest at the end of the season.
Massasoit joined them with 90 of his people and brought along 5 deer for the occasion. Add to that a few eels, some fish, crabs, and a lobster or two, and of course their freshly harvested corns, beans, and squash, and you got yourself the first Thanksgiving dinner.
Which sounds a lot like the meals and the foods that are prepared across this country every Thanksgiving. The bird, the vegetables, the whole 9 yards. It really is symbolic, I guess, of this first dinner together between the tribes and the Europeans and this full-on celebration, because that's what it became, a full-on celebration. We celebrate Thanksgiving one day a year, of course, here in America, but the first Thanksgiving actually lasted just a little bit longer.
It was a celebration that lasted for 3 days, a harvest festival with sport, games, and friends, like so many others around the world. Days of Thanksgiving, thankful that there will be enough food to eat, and another year survived. Sure, the new land wasn't perfect. It wasn't harmony between man and beast, or a permanent peace between settler and native. But for a time, people set aside their differences and gave their thanks for a chance at life. And many other harvest festivals appear around the world today for just the same thing. And that's the story of the first Thanksgiving.
And the lessons to be gained here. Number one, in this country, especially today, how fitting of this, because let's be honest, that's what we need to do. We need to all set our differences aside and understand we're all still human, and we should all be thankful to live where we live and to be able to have the wonders of modernness that we have in our lives. I'm thankful for every last one of you guys. Like I said before, I can't point that out enough, how thankful I am to talk to you guys every single week. If I don't say it enough during the year, at least I hope I can say it enough during this episode, right? But that was the first Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. That was a story that you usually don't hear, right? The full story, not the fabled story. I understand why it is a fabled story. You can't tell the kids of the bloody battles and the things that went wrong in that story because it got kind of ugly at points. So I see kind of covering up a little bit here and there. Not necessarily covering it up, but making it, sugarcoating it. There we go, sugarcoating it for the kids to still have a good understanding of Thanksgiving. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying I understand it, right? Something else I understand is food. I love food. And we talked about the Thanksgiving dinner, the feast of the turkey and the vegetables and all that. But actually, there's a lot of really interesting facts about Thanksgiving food, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go over some of the traditional things that you would find on the Thanksgiving table and a couple of not so well-known facts about each one.
Did you know that according to corporate legend, TV dinners were invented thanks to leftover Thanksgiving turkey?
I know I like Thanksgiving turkey leftover when it's put on a sandwich, right? Don't you guys love some cold turkey sandwiches? However, what do you do when a corporate entity has a lot of leftover Thanksgiving food? Well, for a corporate entity, you try to resell it.
In 1953, the Swanson Company had an extra 260 tons of frozen turkey, so a salesman came up with the idea to put the turkey, along with peas and potatoes, into aluminum trays. They were originally sold for 98 cents.
And that's cheap and all, but come on, you could have at least put a dessert, right? Apple pie, a brownie, something. You could have put some kind of dessert in there, right? But that's how TV dinners were born, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness for Thanksgiving, because some people wouldn't eat without TV dinners, right?
All right, let's continue with turkey. Ben Franklin called the turkey a much more respectable bird than the bald eagle, which he thought had bad moral character because it's a scavenger.
Ironically, Ben Franklin cared very little for the bald eagle, apparently, albeit the mascot of our country, you know. Just that little tidbit aside, he preferred the turkey because the turkey's a much more majestic bird, you know.
The average American eats around 16 pounds of turkey per year, and I will remind you, we have many vegetarians in this country, so the rest of us have to eat a ton of turkey.
Shout out to all the vegetarians out there on Thanksgiving, right? Not gonna lie, I eat a lot of turkey. My ex-wife used to only buy ground turkey instead of ground beef, which, let's be honest, that's better for you. It's a better meat. It's better for the body. But just the same, I eat a lot of turkey. I love to order like a turkey club sandwich or turkey sandwich from my local restaurants, you know. Turkey's a good meat, you know. So I do my part to eat my amount of turkey. What about you? Do you do your part to eat your amount of turkey every year? Of course I say that jokingly.
It's not uncommon for turkeys to have heart attacks. In fact, about 843,000 turkeys die of heart attacks every year. It's a leading leading cause of turkey death. Of course, the leading cause is Thanksgiving.
Did anyone else here know the second leading cause of turkey death is heart attack? I never would have guessed that. I would have guessed just being eaten by predators would have been the second. Turns out that's the first because, well, Thanksgiving.
You know that loud gobble gobble sound that turkeys make? Yeah, only male turkeys make it. It's actually so loud that people can hear it from a mile away.
A mile away. Their gobble carries for up to a mile by human ears standards being able to hear it. Wow. That's a pretty good distance. I will tell you, I have hit a turkey with my car before. Have any of you guys had this experience? I have. I was driving down the road and a couple of turkeys crossing the road and I honked my horn, which caused one of them to jump straight up in the air. Not forward, not backwards, just straight up in the air. And a car coming at about 45 or 50 miles an hour and a bird suspended in the air right about the level of the windshield. That's right, it took out my passenger's side windshield on my truck. So I had to have that replaced one time, thanks to a turkey deciding to take a flight into my vehicle.
Speaking of male turkeys, a young male turkey is known as a Jake, an adult is a Tom, young female turkeys are Jennies, and adults are hens.
Wow, we got the facts coming rapid fire now. All right, guys, so I did not know that the babies, male and female, had a different name than the adults. I just thought they were Toms and hens. I never knew there were Jennies and Jakes. Yeah, that's what it was, Jennies and Jakes. I never heard of that. Have you guys heard of Jenny and Jake turkeys opposed to Tom and hen turkeys? Turns out that's a thing.
But maybe turkey isn't enough for you on Thanksgiving. A shop in Louisiana says that it sells over 5,000 turduckens.
Have any of you had a turducken? Any of you? I've not. I've wanted to. I've always wanted to. Maybe someday I'll find somebody who will make one for me, or maybe I can find some kind of local shop I can talk into making one, right? But seriously, I've never had a turducken, but go ahead and put a 1 in the chat rooms over there if you've had a turducken. I've not. I'm really curious. Have you guys?
5,000 turduckens in the single week preceding Thanksgiving.
That is a lot of food. Why is that particularly a lot of food? Because that 5,000 turduckens equals 15,000 birds. Why is that? Well, for those who don't know what a turducken is, here is a turducken. Here's why that equals 15,000 birds.
For those of you who don't know, a turducken is a chicken stuffed into a duck stuffed into a turkey. Hey Donald, quick riddle. What says quack and is about to have a chicken inside of it? It's like a Matryoshka doll, but edible.
So you have a bird inside of a bird inside of a bird. So you've got 3 layers of bird, 3 different types of birds. A turducken, a turkey, duck, chicken. Like I said, I've never had one. I'm curious to see what they taste like. Well, I know they taste like meat, but I'm curious what they taste like all cooked together. You know what I mean? If anybody wants to make me a turducken next year or maybe for Christmas, hey, I'm not opposed to that at all, right? You know us wolves love our meat, right? Another thing that I love on the Thanksgiving table is stuffing.
You can find recipes for stuffing in a Roman cookbook from around the 4th century CE called the De Re Coquinaria. The book teaches you how to stuff things like chicken and hare and also dormouse.
Now, doesn't that sound like a yummy Thanksgiving Day meal, right? Dormouse, stuffed dormouse, right? Or is that just the appetizer, right? That's just to get things started? Sorry, I won't be eating any stuffed dormouse. Thank God we've moved on from those particular delicacies, right?
Instant stuffing, on the other hand, wasn't invented until 1972. Kraft Foods released stovetop stuffing, which now sells about 60 million boxes around Thanksgiving.
And I know a lot of you right now whose heads are about to explode. I promise. I remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing also, not Kraft being the one that came out with it first and has always had it. No. I remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. And for those sitting there scratching your heads wondering what I'm talking about the Mandela effect, ladies and gentlemen. What if I told you that Stouffer's stovetop stuffing has never ever been a thing? It has never existed. Hands down, end of story, end of question. Stouffer's stovetop stuffing has not ever been a thing in this reality. Check it yourself. Please prove me wrong. I would love one of you guys to prove me wrong, but the only one you're ever going to find and the only one who's ever done instant stuffing has been Kraft stovetop stuffing. And yeah, a lot of you probably right now are scratching your heads. I promise this is a real thing. If you're just hearing about this, check into the Mandela effect. You might have your mind blown. And if you know about it already, yes guys, I remember Stouffer's. I remember it hands down 100%. I don't remember Kraft being the only company that did stovetop stuffing.
But how many of them are used to stuff dormouses? My God, am I happy to live in the age of instant stuffing and no dormouse eating.
I second everything he just said.
Depending on where you're from, stuffing may not be called stuffing. Like in Pennsylvania, many people call it filling. Southerners are more likely to refer to it, as my family did growing up, as dressing.
And as I'm a southern boy from down there around Tennessee way, transplanted up here into the northwestern area. Anyway, seriously, I always called it dressing. What did you guys call it? I have a feeling we're going to get all kind of different names here in the chat room because we got people from all over the country, right? So what have you guys always called it? Is it stuffing? Is it filling? Is it dressing? Is it another name that we haven't quite thrown on here? Is it Dormouse Special? Good Lord, I hope not.
Now let's turn to mashed potatoes. Did you know that every one of the 50 states in the United States grows potatoes?
Yeah, but the Idaho potatoes are the best. I'm just saying. I may be a little biased having my cave now being in Idaho, but yeah, Idaho potatoes, those are the best. But I did not know that every state grew them. I knew we grew them in Tennessee, but I did not know that they're grown in every single state in the United States. That's interesting information. Have you guys learned something new so far? The rapid fire facts aren't quite done just yet.
Also, Boeing used sacks of potatoes to test in-flight Wi-Fi because potatoes interact with electromagnetic fields in a very similar way to humans.
Wow, now that also I did not know. Makes you wonder how smart a potato is, right? Are potatoes actually planning on taking over the world secretly? Is that their secret plan that we just don't know about? But seriously, I did not know they give off the same type or almost same as magnetic radiation as humans. That's really interesting information to know. Does that mean that you can run a clock off a human? You guys remember building the potato clock, right? You ever built a clock and then plugged the two ends into potato and watch it work, right? And am I the only one? No. Yeah, we used to do that back in school, actually. But seriously, have you guys ever done that? Because that goes to show you exactly how much potential electromagnetic energy is in a potato. But I didn't realize that it was as much as a human. That's interesting. Now, there's a bag of potatoes that's as much as a human, not a particular potato. I don't think there's one potato, but if you have a sack of potatoes, apparently it's the same electromagnetic give-off as a human does. That's really intriguing. So much so that Boeing used it to actually test Wi-Fi. Wow. If you don't learn something new, your day has been wasted, and I think we've learned something new for the next 5 or 6 days, right? But we're not quite there yet, guys. We got a couple more rapid-fire facts to go.
Potato blossoms were once very fashionable for the French aristocracy. It's said that Marie Antoinette used to put the flowers in her hair, while Louis XVI would stick one in his buttonhole. That was buttonhole, right?
And it means buttonhole on the jacket. Let's be clean here, guys. This is a family-friendly show. But anyway, the potato flower then actually has a use too. Didn't know that used to be a thing either.
On to corn.
Oh, I love corn. They're one of my favorite bands from the 90s. Freak on a Leash was like one of my favorite songs back then. Wrong corn, stupid. Oh, the food. Of course, the food. Yes, that's right. I knew that. Sure you did.
The part of the corn that we eat, the cob, is not the plant. It's actually the flower. Okay, that makes sense. But which part is the corn dog from?
I think the corn dog is what grows out the middle of the flower. I'm totally kidding.
In Peru, archaeologists found popcorn kernels that were 1,000 years old. Researchers were hungry, so wanted to know if they would still pop. And they did.
Wow, I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed. 1,000-year-old popcorn still popped. That's funny because I can't get all the kernels in the bag that I heat in the microwave to pop all the way. And this guy's popping 1,000-year-old popcorn. How does that work? Did you know that the human body cannot digest corn? Not only can the human body not digest corn, there's not an animal on this planet whose body can digest corn.
Mark wants me to say that the researchers weren't actually hungry. They were doing it for science, obviously. That was obviously a joke, Mark.
Would you? I gotta say, would you eat 1,000-year-old popcorn kernel if you got it to pop? I don't know. I'd be a little scared. There's too many things that existed back then that could still get me now, right? I don't know if I would or not. But what about you guys? I'm a little bit of a scaredy wolf, but what about you? Would you eat 1,000-year-old popcorn kernel? Like somebody found a whole bundle of popcorn kernels from 1,000 years ago and popped them up. Would you have a feast on them? I don't know. I'd be a little scaredy cat when it come to that one, or scaredy wolf when it come to that one, I gotta say.
Also, corn is in a lot more of what we eat than you might think. In fact, 3 out of 4 grocery store products contain some corn.
And not only grocery store products you use every single day. You'd be surprised how corn actually has a role in their creation. So it is one of the most well-used and most used products across the entire world. And the problem is when you get GMO corn, this is why GMO is such a big heated topic and issue. Is like he said, 3/4 of your grocery store has some form of a corn item in it. This may be corn syrup, this may be straight corn, this may be some type of ground corn. There's so many different things you can do with this versatile plant, and they do. And again, that's why GMOs are such a danger, because you're going to be taking in genetically modified organisms in corn in this instance, and there's no telling what's going to happen to you after your body ingests these. So take with caution, but be wary, because when you hear something about corn, like a problem with a corn crop or things like that, that will cause everything else in the world pretty much to go up. If there's a shortage of corn, there's going to be a shortage of everything around us, or at least a lot of stuff around us. You would be absolutely amazed at the amount of products that corn is used in.
It's almost as if corn is evolving us to plant more corn. Someone should write a zombie apocalypse novella about that.
All right, guys, this might be the tryptophan talking from too much turkey, but I think this guy might be onto something.
On to Cranberries.
Oh, the Cranberries. Another great artist from the 90s, band from the 90s, right? Didn't they do that one song, Zombie? Speaking of corn zombies, didn't they sing that song, Zombie, right? That is what they sang, right? Man, they're not talking about that kind of cranberries. They're talking about the food. Oh, yeah, I knew that too. I did. Really, I did. Yeah, right. Eat more turkey. Eat more turkey. Anyway, what about cranberries?
The first known use of the word cranberry was by a New Englander in 1647. John Eliot asked the age-old question, why are strawberries sweet and cranberries sour? You can test whether a cranberry is ripe by tossing it. If it bounces, it's ripe. If not, it's not. That's why you might hear them referred to as bounce berries.
All right, couple things here. Number one, no. I've never heard them referred to as bounce berries. Maybe that's something you guys know of? If so, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat room. Let me know, because I've never heard a cranberry called a bounceberry, but I'm not big on cranberries. Now, here's the funny thing. I like cranberry sauce. I love the Canadian Mist with the splash of cranberry. I'll fight over that thing. I love that drink. However, when it comes to like cran apple, cran grape, ocean spray, cran type drinks, you can't get me within 1,000 miles of those things. I don't like them at all. I'm not a big cranberry. And like I said, it's funny because there are these certain little items that I actually do like that are cranberry, like the jellied canned cranberry sauce or the splash of mist, Syria mist, or splash of cranberry Syria mist. So I don't know, that's one of those weird food products for me. It's something that I would say I don't like, but that wouldn't fully be truthful, would it?
Now to pies. The first pies were meat pies, and they were known as coffins.
Wow, talk about a throwback to our Halloween episode. Holy cow, coffins. But a meat pie. Have you guys ever had a meat pie? I heard a Brit the other day tell me that, what are you guys doing filling your pies with fruit? Why do you guys do that? Pies are meant to be filled with meat. I've never had a meat pie. Maybe a mincemeat. Okay, I'll give it the mincemeat. I have had mincemeat pie. But that said, there are like multiple meat pies, right? Doesn't that sound good? Now, let me be clear. A pizza is considered a pie too. With that said, I eat a pie of meat 3 or 4 times a week in that case, don't I? But when it comes to fruit pies, generally speaking, in America, what is the number 1 most popular fruit pie? Is it cherry? Is it strawberry? Is it apple? Is it blueberry? Or is it lemon? What is the most popular pie in America?
In 2008, when Schwann's Consumer Brands did a pie survey, they learned that apple pie is the most popular pie in America, with 47% of people calling it their favorite.
Apple pie, of course. I mean, is anybody surprised by this? What is more American than apple pie? That is literally a saying. There's not much that's more American than apple pie in baseball, right?
They also asked which TV mom would make the best pie, and Carol Brady came in first place with 40% of the vote.
I disagree, hands down, 100%. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she couldn't bake, but June Cleaver all day. I bet June Cleaver would be having a house full of pies. I bet she has mastered the art, right? June Cleaver would be my TV pie cooking mom. What about you guys? For those old enough especially to remember the TV mothers, if you will, like Leave It to Beaver and the older shows, or even the newer ones, if you know, is there one TV mother who's you think would bake the best pie nowadays? Like I said, I got to stick with the old school. I got to stick with June Cleaver. I think the Leave It to Beaver mom would have been, pies daily.
Those are good choices, but I would pick pumpkin pie.
No way, dude. Apple all the way as far as being the favorite. Or cherry. I love me some cherry now. Ooh, I love me some sweet, smoky cherry pie. Oh, yeah.
Now to peas. In the Perfumed Garden, a sex manual in Arabic from the 15th century, peas are cited as an aphrodisiac, but only if they're boiled along with onions and topped with cinnamon, ginger, and cardamom.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a free recipe thanks to the Dark Wolf's Den Show, right? I don't know if I'll be trying that recipe, but if you guys do, let me know, and let me know if it is an aphrodisiac. Maybe I would try it at that point. Totally kidding. Maybe, sort of.
Ripe peas are yellow. They're actually picked before they become ripe, a practice that started around the 1600s. At the time, many French people referred to that decision as madness. And
like most all good ideas, it is considered madness at first. I love me some peas. What about you guys? Don't you guys? I know that's one of those things that split right down the middle, right? I've cooked enough meals to know that that's one of those make or break it, like or hate it things. You either like peas or you don't. There's no in between. There's not well, I sort of like, no. That's an either you do or you don't thing with peas, right? Is that not the way it's come down to anymore? I love me some sweet peas, though.
Finally, I returned to my salon to tell you that the average American eats between 3,000 and 5,000 calories at Thanksgiving dinner. But hey, I say enjoy it. It only comes around once a year.
And thank goodness for that, because I would be one big boy. You see, there's 2 days a year that I gorge myself on food. I make an absolute and utter pig of myself, and I'm not too proud to admit that. And those 2 days are Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those 2 big eating meal days, I will eat everything I can get my hands on until my stomach is screaming, no more, no more, mercy, mercy. And speaking of mercy, we have to give a little mercy to the radio station advertisers. So ladies and gentlemen, we've got to go ahead and take a network break. We've already crossed the top of the hour here. We're just a little bit past the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and take a network break right here, and we'll be back with the second half of the Dark Wolf's Edition. Can you guys believe we've done an hour already? This has blown by, right? We got so much more fun coming up in the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around, and we'll be right back after these messages. Don't you touch that dial. That's right.
We gotta stoke the fires and run off the men in black. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Sex in the City? Nope. Interview with a Vampire? Nope. If you build it, they will come? Febreze? Tweeze in the middle? Wrong again. Depends. Nope. Welcome to the Twilight Zone, my friends. A phenomenon known as the Mandela Effect. You may have heard of it. You may want to not neglect. Unbecoming, awake, and spiritually inclined. So sit back, relax, while I blow your mind. Take the thumb off the cell, stop following the sheep. Down the rabbit hole we go. Are you ready for that leap? The Zapruder film, #JFK. I looked at the footage and I said, what the heck? How come there are 6 people in that dang car? Stretch limo, for me, this was all too bizarre. A glass behind the driver, no way, Jose. I remember in the car, my mind was in total disarray. Trying to make sense of what I was seeing, what I was witnessing. Didn't connect with my inner being. A second woman in the car for me was only the first lady. Do you smell what the rock is cooking? All this seemed kinda shady. Berenstein Bears. Nope. Shazam? Sinbad? Not in this reality. Good lord. An awakening. Was it all a revelation? The naysayers and skeptics call it confabulation. They say we misremembered and call us bat crazy. Did you smoke a doobie? Maybe that's why it's a little bit hazy. Unless you experience it, you'll never know. But enough of that. On with this Mandela Effect flow. Mandela Effect in the house. What in the world happened to Ed McMahon? In this reality, Publishers Clearinghouse was not a fan. Never the spokesperson, but we remember it clear as day. McMahon holding that check while the winner yelled out, yay! American Family Publishers, never heard of them until now. This Mandela Effect has me raising the people's eyebrow. So many theories on what it could be. Have you ever heard of CERN and the LHC? Luke, I am your father. Nope. Sally Fields? Nope, wrong again. That stands for the Large Hadron Collider. I thought I would mention. You know, the machine that opens up portals into different dimensions? You're probably thinking that this is all science fiction, but you gotta think outside the box and have no restrictions. Alternate realities and parallel dimensions. Okay, I get some of your apprehensions. Could this all be a spiritual evolution? Cause the human race has grown tired of this toxic pollution. Mandela Effect in the house. No, you're not going crazy. Some people, they just don't understand. That's just the way it is. You know? Stay strong, my friends. That's just the way it is. Dolly has no braces? Are you serious? Good lord. Joel Osteen. Oh wait, Joel Osteen. So what the heck happened to the owl? Oh my gosh. No, this is definitely the Twilight Zone. This is crazy. Anyhow.
It's Thanksgiving. That's my turkey impression. Can you believe it? Hi, everyone. It's AJ, the Ripon Rabbit. Those of you who know me know that I don't eat before a show, always after a show. And on a day like today, Thanksgiving, with such a feast, how could I have not stuffed my face? And I can tell you, I am tripping on tryptophan right now as I sit back and just enjoy the sounds of Jerry Hicks and the Dark Wolf's Den Holiday Edition. It really is nice. I'm thankful for Jerry and all of you for being smart enough to be here. If you've enjoyed the program so far, please make sure to thumb up that video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell. You'll get our notifications every time we go live. We're here every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, bringing you the very best of common sense radio, the Ripon Rabbit Hole. I'll be back again tomorrow night, Friday, November 27th. As we explore Black Friday together. That's right, gifts and gadgets. Are you looking for a few ideas this holiday season? Dive through a collection of really crazy gift ideas, gadgets that will leave you bewildered, shocked, and amazed. It's going to be a fun show. Perhaps you're looking for that unique gift for that unique person. This is the show to pay attention to. Or you just want to add something fun to your wish list this year. You're going to love what I've got in store for you tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific in Gifts and Gadgets. Then Saturday, November 28th, Rock and Roll Fame, baby. That's right, we're going to go on the road. Did you ever want to be a rock star? Come along with us as we twist through the rabbit hole of riffs of legendary rock icons and fame. It's going to be a fun night together. Saturday, November 28th, again starting at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central. All shows start at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central. And then we'll end out this weekend right. End November, Sunday night, with Crop Circles. That's Sunday, November 29th. End the weekend out right together with me as we look into the theories and realities of crop circles, from the known hoaxes to the unexplainable. We're going to end the weekend out right together. Now, if you haven't done so already, please hop on over to Ripon Rabbit Hole and jump on our mail list. We've resumed our weekly Wednesday schedule. We'll send it out to your inbox direct. You'll get a look at all of those rabbit holes in advance so you know what to pay attention to. We're going to return tonight to our Thanksgiving Day broadcast. And again, I give thanks to each and every one of you who are smart enough to be here. Most important, our host, Jerry Hicks, and the Dark Wolf's Den Holiday Special right here on Ripon Common Sense Radio. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
If you were meant to be controlled, you would have come with a remote, but you didn't. And that's why you listen to the Dark Wolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and welcome back to the second half of the Dark Wolf's Den Show. Whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is November 26th, 2020, also known as Thanksgiving. That's right, welcome to the second half of the Thanksgiving Day Special. In the first half, if you missed the first half, I definitely suggest that you go back and check that out, because in the first half we talked about the true story of Thanksgiving, not the sugar-coated fairy tale, the fable that we hear as kids. Then we went over a lot of fun facts about the foods that you find on the Thanksgiving Day table. Another fun thing about Thanksgiving is the entertainment that comes around at Thanksgiving, right? Not the football games. I know a lot of you guys love the football, but I mean the other entertainment, the stuff we used to watch as a kid, right? Like the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special. It's Thanksgiving, or Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Charlie Brown, whatever you want to call it. That was always something that I loved to watch every single year, right? And I'm sure a lot of you have too. Well, I've actually stumbled upon some behind the scenes facts about Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Check this out, guys.
It was the first TV special not based from the comics. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving was the 10th Peanuts TV special to be released, but it was the first TV special to have an original story, rather than using a plot from the comic strip.
I used to read that comic strip in the Sunday Funnies every single week, right? Didn't you guys? The Sunday Funnies come around, you got to watch, or you got to look at Family Circus and Charlie Brown, right? Peanuts is what it was called, right? Not Charlie Brown, but all the other specials ever done about the Peanuts gang were pre-written specials from the comic strip series. So the Thanksgiving special was the first one that had an original script. There's something interesting.
Linus's Thanksgiving speech turned into a spin-off. Linus's speech about the Pilgrims' first Thanksgiving dinner was animated 13 years later into its own special called The Mayflower Voyagers.
I remember the speech in that show, but I did not know that they turned it into its own series just based on that one speech. Did you guys? Have you guys ever seen that particular animated series?
Peppermint Patty's voice was done by a boy. Chris DeFaria, who provided the voice, had a deviated septum, which meant one of his nostrils was always plugged and sounded like he had a cold, which is why his voice was so low for a little kid. He was often asked if it bothered him to voice a girl, but he didn't care because he was so happy just to be involved.
You would be surprised how many voice actors are not what you think they are. How many male characters in cartoons are actually voiced by females and vice versa.
Snoopy's showdown with the lawn chair was a tribute to another famous animator, which was none other than Walt Disney and his early slapstick cartoons.
Another fact I didn't know that that was actually a nod to Walt Disney. There you go, guys.
One of the kids couldn't read their lines. Hilary Momberg, who provided the voice of Sally, couldn't read at the time, so one of the directors read her lines to her through the headset, and then she just repeated back into the microphone.
That is kind of a problem when working with kids, right? Not all kids can read at all levels, so it's cool that they found a way to improvise that to still get the lines put down. That's pretty neat, I gotta say.
Not everyone loved Snoopy and Woodstock's Thanksgiving moment. The producer Lee Mendelson strongly opposed the idea of having Woodstock eat a turkey, since he is a bird too. But Charles Schultz and animation director Bill Melendez told him he was overreacting. However, Schultz did become more sensitive about the issue in his comics, by creating gags where Woodstock would put on disguises to avoid being eaten around Thanksgiving.
You know, if they would not have pointed that out, I don't think I would have noticed it. I'm going to be honest with you. A bird eating a bird, that is kind of disturbing, isn't it? That's cute that he come up with those gags with Woodstock, though, every year. That's absolutely adorable.
Charlie Brown's big scream wasn't dubbed by a child. Todd Barbie, who played the voice of Charlie Brown, attempted the scream for 24 takes before the filmmakers realized they had to get someone else. So Todd Barbie's voice was replaced by an adult's, just for that one part, and the adult voice was adjusted in post-production to make it sound like a child.
I gotta say, it's pretty amazing what they can do with this post-production stuff, even back in the day of the creation of this little show.
The actors aren't making any more money from the TV special. Todd Barbie said that even though he was paid a significant amount of money up front, he and the rest of the kid actors' contracts required them to give up all royalties for future showings of the cartoon.
It just goes to show you should watch what you sign, because you never know what you're signing away.
There's a reason why Over the River and Through the Woods sounds so bad. Voice actor Robin Conn Glazier, who played Lucy, told Noblemania that the reason the song sounds so off-key is because each kid recorded the song separately, and then all the vocal tracks were overlaid together in post-production.
Personally, I think it's little things like that that really make the Charlie Brown specials what they are, right? The little off-key, it brings a little realness into it, right? It isn't perfect in choir style, and it's more of a believable cartoon. And I think just little things like that, like overlaying all the tracks together and not making sure they're in key and everything's perfect, I think that actually adds to the amazement of that show. show of the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special and all the Charlie Brown specials, but this one in particular is what we're talking about.
This was the first time an unaltered adult voice was used in the series. Vince Guaraldi, who composed and performed the music for most of the Peanuts TV specials, sang the song Little Birdie, which was the first time a real adult human voice was incorporated into the TV specials.
Because if you remember, all of the adults sounded something like a trumpet or a trombone. Wah, 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 wah. That was the Charlie Brown adults. So the Thanksgiving special is the first time that an actual adult voice was actually used in a Charlie Brown special.
Do you watch a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving every November?
I do. What about you guys? I love a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and the Great Pumpkin and the Christmas. And there's not a Charlie Brown special I think I don't like. I love Snoopy. I grew up with the Snoopy doll, right? I had a Snoopy doll that I had in my bed every night growing up. I loved Peanuts, right? Something else I love is music. And did you guys know there is a Thanksgiving song? That's right, there's Thanksgiving music. No, I don't mean kids' songs or songs turned into Thanksgiving-themed songs that are classic kid tunes or stuff. No, I'm talking about a song that we all know. We all know very well, as a matter of fact. And this song is actually a Thanksgiving song. Check this out. I'm going to play the song in question. You guys may recognize it. I mean, it's kind of a popular song every year. And then we're going to hear some facts about the secret history of this particular song. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the secret Thanksgiving song that is normally sang as a Christmas carol. Check this out.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
Feel free to sing along.
Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. We ran into a drifted bank, and there we got upside. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Jingle Bells. Were you guys singing along? I was. Yeah, kind of heard me there, didn't you? But seriously, Jingle Bells was not a Christmas carol. That's right. We sing it every year at the holiday season, and we always wait till after Christmas. Don't sing those Christmas carols before Christmas. Those are Christmas carols. Those ain't Thanksgiving songs. Actually, Jingle Bells is a Thanksgiving song, and it has a really weird history, and we're going to dig into that right now.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Christmas carols. You either love them or you hate them, and there's no Christmas carol quite like Jingle Bells. It's been covered by the Stars,
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
parodied and satirized, and even has its own jokey lyrics.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin lays an egg.
Put a 1 if you used to sing that as a kid. I did. I used to sing it a lot, as annoying as it can get over and over and over after a while. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat room if you used to sing that version, the Bart Simpson version we just heard there of Jingle Bells. You know, Batman smells, la-da-da-da-da. Go ahead, put a 2 in the chat room if you've never sang it like that, and put a 3 if you have no idea what in the world I'm talking about at all.
But Jingle Bells actually has the most surprising story of any Christmas carol. Originally, it wasn't called Jingle Bells, and it had nothing to do with Christmas at all.
Like I said a moment ago, it wasn't originally made to be a Christmas carol. It was actually made to be a Thanksgiving song.
One Horse Open Sleigh, a jaunty melody for the American holiday of Thanksgiving, was written by James Lord Pierpont in 1857. He was a songwriter best otherwise known for being the uncle of John Pierpont Morgan.
Morgan. Why does that name sound familiar? Morgan.
Founder of J.P. Morgan.
Oh yeah, that guy.
A massive investment bank, and for sadly supporting slavery and the South during the American Civil War.
And if you guys know the story of Tesla, then you'll be very aware of the workings of J.P. Morgan.
It was originally a drinking song. Given the content of the song's lyrics, historians think it's unlikely that it was intended to be a song for family-friendly occasions.
Even though today we consider it nothing more than just a kid's song.
The original Jingle Bells sure has some lyrics, ranging from a verse about a lean and lank horse having a crash to the need to go out with girls while you're young, to this amazing verse where the narrator falls over in the snow and
a gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as their eyes sprawling lie, but quickly drove away.
Because we all know that laughing at injured people in the snow sure is the spirit of Christmas.
Again, we consider this a kid's song, but the original lyrics don't sound very kid-friendly at all. And we heard about the lean and lanky horse when we listened to the song. That verse was in there about the horse crashing, but we didn't hear the verse about the guy getting laughed at and passed on as he's suffering in the snow. Wow, this definitely doesn't sound like a kid's song anymore, does it?
Jingle Bells has even changed its tune over the years. Originally, the song's chorus was a bit more complicated than it is today, even melancholic.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what joy it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what joy it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
To me, that sounds like more of a country and western beat, right? It's still got the overall like tune of Jingle Bells that we know, but it's not quite the same, is it?
So you can see how over time the kinks have kind of been hammered out. Today, the chorus is just super simple major chords like 1s, 4s, and 5s. The basic building blocks of pop harmony, which makes it that bright, almost too joyous carol we all know and listen to.
And I dare say Love is a really good Christmas song, in my opinion. Well, Thanksgiving song, right? We call it a Christmas carol, a Christmas song, but it's something that we grew up with, right? We've sang this since we were wee-high to a grasshopper.
So, to recap, Jingle Bells originally wasn't called Jingle Bells, it didn't have anything to do with Christmas, and it didn't really sound like it does today. And it still became one of the most popular songs on planet Earth.
This song has even found a way to transcend the bounds of Earth.
It was even the first song performed in space.
It was the first song performed in space.
By two Gemini 6 astronauts in 1965, who smuggled a harmonica and sleigh bells into space to play the song.
That's funny that they had to smuggle them on board in order to do it. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have that recording of Jingle Bells on a harmonica and sleigh bells in space. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Roger, Houston and Jiminy 7, this is Jiminy 6. Stand by 1.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, Jingle Bells being performed in space by a harmonica and the actual bells themselves, which I really didn't hear the bells so much as I heard the harmonica for sure.
Which just goes to show for all the budding songwriters out there that if you don't get it right first time, just give it a little over 100 years of near legally enforced playing during the holiday season, and you too might just write that song that jingles all the way.
You too may write the next Jingle Bells that everybody is singing in 100 years. That's right. There's no telling what you do, and you won't do anything if you don't try. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thankful for the ability to try and entertain you guys and bring you guys information every week. It is both my honor and my pleasure to do such, and I'm thankful for the ability to do just that. I'm thankful for every one of you that come back and listen to us every single week. It's because of you guys we do this, and we couldn't do it without you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I have enjoyed this Turkey Day. I hope everybody has had a very wonderful and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have been able to learn something this evening with this show. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, whether it be the paranormal, turkeys, or the holidays, always remember to apply just a little bit of common sense and make your own judgments. Because in the end, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, it comes down to you and whether or not you'll be the judge. We got to close it out. That's right, that's it for this episode of the Dark Wolf's Den Show for Thursday, November 26th, 2020, also known as Thanksgiving or Turkey Day 2020. That's right. I hope everybody has enjoyed the information tonight, whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat. We're glad you chose us to be right there with you. We're thankful you chose us to be right there with you. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of being thankful, I'm thankful that every one of you guys are here and remain to be here all weekend long, because the den may be closing, but the weekend fun is only just begun. That's right, on Friday night, Black Friday nonetheless. AJ, tomorrow night, we'll be talking on the Ripon Rabbit Hole live show about gifts and gadgets. That's right. AJ the Ripon Rabbit will be digging down the rabbit hole of 2020 modern gifts. There's a lot of new stuff on the market, and I'm sure he's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. So if you're interested in the gadgets and gifts of holiday shopping this year, make sure you check out that show on Friday, the Ripon Rabbit Hole live show starring our buddy AJ the Ripon Rabbit. Then he comes back at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central on Saturday night with rock and roll fame. That's right. Have you ever thought about being a rock and roll star? Some people still try to dream of that today, and why not, right? But is it all it's cracked up to be? There's been a lot of mystery around the rock and roll fame, and is rock and roll fame worth having rock and roll fame? AJ will talk about that on Saturday. Then on Sunday, AJ the Ripon Rabbit, one more time with a Ripon Rabbit Hole live show, is going to round out the weekend with crop circles. See what I did there? Rounding out the weekend with the crop circles. That's right. I have really thought a couple times about doing this topic and just haven't got the information together yet. So I'm really glad to see AJ doing this. I cannot wait to hear his take on crop circles, ladies and gentlemen. And that is going to round out the weekend here on Ripon Common Sense Radio. That's right. If you want to keep up with us here on the network, make sure you go over to the riponrabbithole.com. That is RIPONRABBITHOLE.com. That's right. Over there, you're going to find our mail list. Make sure you sign up for that. We've got the emails going again, and you'll be emailed every Wednesday. We only send one email a week, and that is with our schedule for the entire week here on Ripon Common Sense Radio. While you're over there, ladies and gentlemen, on riponrabbithole.com, make sure you drop by the 24/7 Backstage Lounge. There's a good possibility at any given time that I will be there. That's my favorite hangout, you see, and I would love to hang out with you over there right after the show. I'm going to go over there and hang out in the 24/7 Backstage VIP Lounge. That's right, it is absolutely free. Just go to the 24/7 Backstage Lounge on the riponrabbithole.com. Scroll halfway down that page, select the VIP entrance. It's going to ask you to okay your microphone and camera as you enter. Go ahead and hit okay with that. You can turn those off the moment you get in and only use text chat if you would like. We have a selection of people back there that do just that every night. And we love to hang out with every last one of you guys. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen, this week. I'm going to go ahead and get the den closing because that's it for this month for us. As a matter of fact, we're going to come back kicking off next month with the brand new weekend and a brand new episode, holiday-themed episode nonetheless, of the Dark Wolf's Den Show. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we appreciate you spending your Thanksgiving right here with us. And on behalf of Walt House, Chick Mandela Effect, Michael Musco, AJ, the Ripon Rabbit, everyone at Ripon Common Sense Radio, I'm Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf. And remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay awake, but dare to dream. That's right. Good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. How? Yeah.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. We ran into a drifted bank, and there we got upside. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. I'm lost and into the dark. Some things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever home. Glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner is it in her? Is this real? Just illusion. I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonder.